we made time for a date night. We're going to see Passover.
Yeah.
Our first time seeing a Broadway show in, I don't know how long.
A long time.
A long time. Being a Broadway performer is pretty cool.
And a lot of hard work.
Getting there is even harder.
We're going to tell you all about it.
I'm Adrienne Walker.
And I'm Austin Cook.
Welcome to 32 Bar Cut. Welcome back to 32 Bar Cut Broadway Banter. I'm Adrienne Walker.
I'm Austin Cook.
And we are so excited to be talking to y'all again because we finally went to a Broadway show.
Our first Broadway show, not ever, but since COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we went to see the Broadway Pops Up, but it wasn't really
That wasn't
the
a
same.
Broadway show.
Everyone was spaced out. It was just not Broadway. New York Pops Up in a Broadway theater.
Mm-hmm.
But this is legit. Like, we had the playbill. Like, we legitimately went to see a Broadway show.
And we went to see Passover.
We went to see Passover.
It's a play.
It's a play.
Not
it's
a musical.
One of the 7, I think, new plays coming to Broadway. Black Playwright. We were thrilled to go. So we went to see Passover. And the theater was packed. As you can see, we're dropping in some footage now. You to see the packed theater. And everyone had to be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. When we got in the line, they checked our vaccination and our proof of identification before they checked our tickets. That was the first thing.
It went pretty quick, I thought. I thought we got through the line, fast. It felt like the same normal wait before COVID. So that's not really an issue. In case you were wondering about that, it seemed they had all their ducks in a row. It was pretty simple.
Yeah.
So then we got in the house and it was full.
It was full. Yeah. We were both sitting next to someone. There were people behind us. It was packed. It was full.
It was full. We had our masks on. So if you're not comfortable sitting next to people like in the Broadway situation, don't put yourself in this situation because
if you have the money, buy the seat next to you, But if you really want to go see the show, you can buy the seats next to you. But we were next to folks. Unlike our movie theater experience where it's still socially distanced.
Yeah, that's true. When we go to the Alamo here at the, it's, I just kicked the camera. Hold on. Let's do a little tech. Okay, I think we're good.
I think we're okay.
I constantly kick the camera. I have like giraffe-like limbs, and they just always no matter how far back the camera gets,
you get to it. It's almost like it's your goal.
I know, every time. But anyway, so yeah, unlike our movie theater experience, that they still have socially distant, seats. They they space you out. But Broadway can't. That's not sustainable because Broadway.
They have to make their money.
Yeah.
And it costs so much money to put on a show.
It's so expensive. It's crazy. So this play, Passover, you have to tell us your experience. So now if you want to see Passover and you don't want any spoilers, you need to stop watching and go watch one of our other videos.
Or before you leave, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And then go watch something else so that we don't spoil
we don't want to spoil it because we're going to talk a little bit about it. So we do not want to spoil. So this is your last chance. Please leave the video before we talk about it because we might say a spoiler.
We're going to talk about the play. And if you get to see the play, come back, watch this video and engage with us and, and tell us your thoughts.
That's right.
So, yeah.
So tell us what you thought overall about the play.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. I have no complaints. And that's saying a lot because I'm a pretty picky theater goer. But what I love about watching live theater, no matter if it's good or bad, is that you always learn something. As an actor, as a creator, as a performer, you always learn something, whether it is an excellent production or the worst thing you've ever seen. you're going to learn something.
That's so true. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you think the execution is good, if you think the execution is not so good, you're absolutely right. You learn something regardless. Even if you're learning, I don't want to do something that way or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's always something good to be taken from every experience. This was not that experience, though. This was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It was really
the actors. Look, let's get into the names.
It was really fantastic. It's a 3-man play.
Yeah.
And
John Michael Hill, Namir Smallwood, and Gabriel Ebert.
Yeah, fantastic.
They were all on, and they were fantastic. And I would say that the chemistry between the three of them was great, but the chemistry between the two leads, and they're all leads, but the two key players that were on stage the most, it was their story to tell. John Michael Hill and Namir Smallwood, their chemistry was just amazing. They were supposed to be lifelong friends, and I felt that. But the I would say the overall tones and themes of the play are not easily digestible, especially if you're Black, because there's comedy, unique comedy in plays, unique comedy in drama, because that's life. Really, there's comedy in life. We recently went to my uncle's funeral, which was not a happy experience, but there was comedy in that because people were being overly dramatic and moody, and there was this one woman that was on drugs that had an explosion in the hotel lobby. So there's comedy in drama in real life, and that's why it lives in great theater like what we saw. So yeah,
I was going to say I don't know the playwright personally. Her name is Antoinette, her first name is, and I don't know how to pronounce the rest, so I don't want to mess it up, but I will say that Antoinette, it's just a beautifully written piece. It's said in the playbill, and when you read research online, that she was inspired by Waiting for Godot and
Exodus,
and the book of Exodus from the Bible, which really shows through when you see the piece, because it's not a play with it's kind of a play that's like Waiting for Godot, where it's just time, like it's just two guys just hanging out.
You're watching it, and you know that this day is the day that they have every day. They have the same running jokes, the same conversations, the same arguments. This day, they live it every day.
Yeah, and it's just kind of about their experience, and of course there are tons of
and their fears, and they want to leave. They're on this block, and I feel like the block could have been so much more than the block. The block could have been a housing project. The block could have been a dead-end job. The block could have been living at your mama's house. Like, the block could have been anything in anyone's life if they feel like they're stuck and they feel like somehow the world is not allowing them to be more than what they can be. But then also, what limitations are we putting on ourselves too? It felt like the block that they were trying to get off of was their own personal prison. Didn't you feel like it was more than just a block?
Right. But what's interesting about it is that for me, the piece is about the system or what's in place in that and on that block to keep them there. Not so much that they're responsible for staying there.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point, is what systems are in place. And of course, in the play, it has to do with the white man and particularly police and shootings and the fear of
being killed by the police, police brutality,
and getting out. What systems keep them in place? But so really provoking theater, or provocative, I guess would be the word, provocative theater, but really good, really engaging,
really well constructed. There's so many things. Like, I would go see it again just to catch what I might have missed, because I feel like it was rich in that way, or even to just read it to see what you might have missed. And the other wonderful thing about it, I think, too, being in the room with I can't think of my words, with subject matter that's so heavy, and to see these actors putting everything into it. That is the part that I leave feeling inspired by, because
really brave performances.
They're on stage, Michael and John Michael and Namir on stage the entire play, and it's a very physical play too. They were very physical and emotional, and it's not like I just imagine that a lot of it touched home, and that they had to. I can't imagine what the rehearsal process was like, or how long they worked on it to get where it was.
Yeah, because it's a lot. I mean, because there's so much in this text that is the actor can make something out of. That is not necessarily on the page.
Yeah.
There's so much with how you say. There's so much banter between the two guys that is like because they're friends and they're close. It can mean something depending on how they deliver it, which we've talked about on this channel a lot, that you can really make something out of your dialogue, out of your monologue that maybe on the page, may not, maybe in the subtext.
Yeah.
There was so much subtext in this piece, and a lot of like physical, like dancing and movements and like all kinds of like physical comedy too.
Yeah.
Like, that's not physical comedy. I don't mean that from like, it's like for us to be physical comedy. It's just between the two of them. Yeah. They're trying to make each other laugh.
It's just two friends. It's two friends interacting with each other, and they had so much history and so many inside jokes and things that weren't said, but were still understood between them. There was a lot of that. And there were a lot of nuance too, That's the great thing about going to see a play, is that, someone could, do a look, and that kind of finishes the bit or whatever they were doing. The part that kind of disturbed me, and I think disturbed you too, is that when you watch stories like this about the Black experience, sometimes things are said on stage that aren't funny if you're Black. Mm-hmm. But to be in an audience, a mixed audience. I would say that the audience was primarily white, but there were quite a few people of color and Black folks in the audience too. To experience a moment on stage with these actors, with these Black actors, and be Black yourself and know that it's not funny and have the audience laugh is very challenging. It's that is a difficult moment for me.
Yeah, I agree. We talk about this a lot when we see stuff. It's not the first time we've seen plays like this.
Yeah.
It's frustrating when you see certain things happen on stage that are not meant to be like...
It's like tragic. And people are laughing.
It's not supposed to be... what am I trying to say in the old days?
It's not supposed to be entertainment.
What's that word?
Minstrelsy.
Like minstrels.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be that, but people are laughing at certain things like that's what it is, and they're laughing like at the actors instead of like they don't get it. In other words, it's like over their head. That is always frustrating because it feels racist. It feels like you don't like.
There's a disconnect.
The reason you're laughing at that
and it makes me feel like and
I'm like
that to look at a human experience and then deny them their humanity simply because they're Black means that you as a spectator, you still have some work to do.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing this as entertainment and not looking at the human story, and that it is tragic. Like there were moments that were tragic. They're talking about not having something to eat or, being worried about being shot. And if it wasn't obvious, for me, it always feels obvious. But if it wasn't like overtly obvious, the audience laughed. That puts me out.
Well, the audience, of course, is that said the word audience means a bunch of different people. So some people laughed. Some people like us did not laugh. Some people maybe cried.
I was sitting next to a Black girl.
You have a lot of people.
3 Black women in front of me. We didn't laugh. Austin didn't laugh. There were moments like they're not. But
there also could be some Black people that did laugh. I mean, because it strikes home or reminds them of something.
The irony or something.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that's the hard thing about these audiences is that, you just have a whole bunch of people from all sorts.
Sometimes I feel like, well, okay, fine. If a black person laughs, fine. But I feel like if you're not black,
no, I mean they're allowed to laugh.
No, I feel like you don't get to laugh.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. Yeah, but they don't get it. Is the whole point.
Yeah, I know.
It's like we talk like they don't get it, so
yeah,
it does no good, to even be mad at them because they don't get it.
I know, but I cannot control that anger.
Right, but that is the beautiful point of theater too, that they're there, and that's the chance to. The point of theater is to
teach.
Yeah, well,
entertain, but
is to entertain, but especially plays is to entertain, but to challenge,
communicate, challenge,
and a lot of these kind of plays is to really like highlight a truth or something that is someone else's experience, and as a play attendee or an audience member, I'm able to see someone else's experience and to learn from it. That's one of my favorite playwrights is August Wilson. For that very reason, you can go and be a fly on the wall and learn about someone else's experience, and it's different than a movie. Movies are the same way, but you're actually there. You feel like you're with these other human beings, and when else could you be in a highly dramatic situation? A lot of times, life and death situation. You get to sit in it with other human beings as they're acting it out and experience. That's different than a movie. So that's why plays are so powerful, because you can actually learn something. And I remember when we saw the Slave play, I remember thinking the same thing when I saw it, is that the audience may not get it for a while, may laugh at things they're not supposed to be laughing, but at the end, what Robert O'Hara does so great is by the end, and with the mirror the whole time, and they're like looking
at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe by the end, there's some people that are challenged to be like, maybe it causes them to think and to think about, I was laughing. Maybe I shouldn't have been. Why was I laughing?
Yeah.
A self-aware person will analyze those things.
Yeah.
But anyway, a really beautiful play.
Yeah, it had such a great balance of truth, irony, comedy, tragedy, all of it. I would go, if I had an opportunity to, I would go see it again. I don't think that I will, but
one act, the white character, who is
really talented.
Yeah, is fantastic. And
Gabriel Ebert.
I see the understudy is a woman, which I think is fantastic. That'd be really great to see as well, because it doesn't really matter that if it's man or woman, but it does matter that
they should be white.
White, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was also fantastic, and what he had to do was just equally hard. I mean, all three of them. It's a very difficult play.
Yeah.
So he was really fantastic as well. So it was a really great ensemble. I think
absolutely. I also really loved the set. It was simple. It was just a sidewalk with a lamp, a street lamp, and there were glimpses of. And look, now, if y'all are still watching this and you don't want any spoilers, this is a spoiler. So really, go away if you don't want to be spoiled. But there's this big reveal at the end of the promised land, or
call it the Garden of Eden.
The Garden of Eden, yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, there were some moments, it's just like they talk about this dream, about what's on what was the list called? His promised land list, or his promised land.
It's like 10. Yeah, 10 I don't know, but it's like 10 things.
It was like 10 things they wanted that would make their promised land, because one of the characters' his name was Moses. And so it was as if he was going to lead his people out, and, he's the one that's going to get, I
can't remember.
Kitch.
Oh, Kitch, yeah.
Kitch was the other, his friend's name. And it seemed like they were both homeless, maybe, and they lived on this block. They were stuck in this situation, constantly fearful that they were going to be the next one to be gunned down by the police just for being Black. And they go through this theme of, well, we need to stop saying the N-word, and that was throughout the play. Full out N-word in all of its iterations. But they were like, I bet if we stop saying the N-word, they won't even know who we are. They won't know we're Black. They'll think we're one of them. And that was a really interesting point. It's like that thought process of, if I stop behaving how people expect me to. And if I'm a good Black person, then they're going to give me my due.
Mm-hmm.
And so they played that scenario out, but it still didn't work out for them, you know? And I feel like as a Black person, that's what you grow up thinking. I was raised to believe if you speak this way, if you make good grades, if you do all this, you will be successful and your race won't hold you back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that is a household lesson for a Black person in America. And so I don't know, even that being a part of your upbringing is just very interesting. And I understood that narrative that they were conveying. And I think I would hope that most people in the audience got it too. But
for sure.
They had this list of the promised land, what would be the promised land. And it's simple stuff, it's like a favorite meal, a woman, some shoes. And in the end, none of that in the list really matters. And they take off their clothes and it's as if they're free. And it makes me emotional thinking about it because, we take off all our clothes and we're just human beings. We're just like flesh and bone.
Mm-hmm.
But we have all of this difference between us that we've created.
Mm-hmm.
It's racial difference, economic difference, whatever. But at the end of the day, when God calls us home, we're all the same. And
it was beautiful when Moses allows the white character, who is a really nasty, evil character, allows him the chance to come to the promised land.
Yeah.
He allows him to do that, but only by shedding everything.
He said, you can't take this with you.
You can't take any of that.
And he had on a cop uniform. Yeah. So he started with just taking off everything that made him a cop, right? Yeah. But then he started taking off everything, his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard part, is that I feel like Moses giving him the chance, like saying, mm-hmm. This is after this cop has killed Moses and Moses came back to life and did some magic stuff. It's that, you did me dirty. You did me wrong. You killed me. You killed my family, but I'm still going to give you another chance. I'm still going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. I know that you're better than this. I know that you also are a product of your circumstance and a product of your upbringing. And we can all have this together, but you can't bring all of this with you. And I almost feel like 2020 was kind of that awakening for everyone. Like, hey, look, we're going to, as Black folks, explain to you what our lives have looked like and what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have that information. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep walking with all this baggage and all this crap that separates us and makes us, incapable of having community? Or are you going to leave it here and walk with me together on this journey together as human beings?
Well, that's what's beautiful about the play, and it's idealistic, but what else is there if there's not idealism? Mm-hmm. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a beautiful moment in the play, because, like you're saying, also there were lots of little other moments, but like the word master came up. The white man was named Master, and he, when he said it, they jumped back, and the Black characters jumped back and were appalled by that. And the white character, as if he'd never thought of his name, that it would have that connotation. He never thought about it. And he was like, well, that's not what, it took him a while. It took him a while to even understand what they were reacting to. And that, to me, was 2020, was a lot of the year was, well, the Confederate flag, this bothers me. This statue bothers me. The name Master, this bothers me. This, not just bother me, this is what it means for us.
It's not just a word. It's not just a statue. It's not just a flag. It has meaning and it hurts.
Yeah, and this is what it means to us. And you can take with that, here's that information. Mm-hmm. Now what are you going to do about it? And I think, we saw different things. We saw some people like, it doesn't mean that to me, screw you.
Yeah.
That's one possible reaction. And the other reaction is, oh, that means that you let me change something about myself I wasn't aware of, and understand the history of that and what that means for you, and to change something, which is what the play is. It's like, shed that, get rid of it, and let's come together.
Yeah.
And that's 2020. It's just a beautiful play. Yeah.
It's a beautiful play. And for those of you watching that got a chance to see it, like, wasn't it amazing? And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, see it next time. If you see it at your local community theater or whatever,
Yeah, because this is the type of play that's going to have a life, like, in the Chicago theater scene, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, this would do so well in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it started in Chicago.
It did?
Yeah, Steppenwolf.
Oh, well, then that makes sense. That tracks. Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good plays start in Chicago. That's where we used to.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So Broadway's late to the game sometimes.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's all right. They do their best.
That was our first Broadway show. Such a great experience. It's so wonderful to be back. It feels great. Yeah. And it felt safe, which is most important.
I felt very safe. And we didn't get any concessions. So we legitimately kept our masks on the whole time. Yeah. It was great to be back. And we're going to see Waitress with Sarah Bareilles.
Yeah, we're going to see Waitress. So we'll tell you about that.
We'll tell you about that. So that's a musical. And I definitely want to get concessions this time because there's special concessions there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
So we will check back in with y'all.
Can I get a pie?
I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to tell you.
They probably have pie. Sugar, butter, flour,
butter,
water, butter, sugar.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. There's some song like that. I can't remember. It's something like that.
Sugar, butter, flour.
She knows it. Yeah. I don't know. That's funny. I'm excited to see it with Sarah. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, I'm thrilled. I can't wait. I got my dress ready and everything.
We'll tell you.
Yeah, we'll tell you about it. But thanks for tuning in. As always, write your questions or comments down below. This is a big conversation. We put out a lot of themes in this episode. So if there's something you want to say, please do. If it's unkind, we probably won't respond. But if it's open and starts a conversation, we'll definitely engage with you. And what else?
That's it. That's all I got. I have no announcements.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.